What's up? It's the MMA Analyst here to do my review or my recap for UFC 105. Overall, it was a very surprising night of fights, and I know a lot of people, or maybe some people, are out there saying, "Man, this guy doesn't like UK fighters. He really doesn't like Michael Bisping." Well, at one point, one of those two statements were true. I really didn't like Michael Bisping. And I've never had a problem with UK fighters. I saw somebody on my video earlier say this guy's a xenophobe. I'm from Canada and I'm black. So a xenophobe is somebody who's afraid of, or doesn't like people who are not like him. Well, I'd be in a very difficult world. I'm rooting for all these Americans, Russians, Japanese people. I mean, nobody's like me other than black Canadians. And, Canada's not like Detroit, if you know what I mean. Anyways, the odds makers and myself were all very surprised by the results of this card. If you really take a look at it, you had four, possibly five underdogs winning. I'm not sure who the underdog was in Brandon Vera, Randy Couture, but basically we had Ross Pearson as the underdog. He beat Aaron Riley. Michael Bisping as the underdog, he beat Dennis Kang. Dan Hardy as the underdog, he beat Mike Swick. And then James Wilkes was the underdog, and he lost to Matt Brown. But whatever submission he had, whatever it was, that fight should have been over. But anyways, let's get right down to it. Undercard, haven't seen it yet. As soon as I watched the fight at 3:30 in the afternoon, actually all the Canadians, whenever the UFC's on in the UK, take a look at your Sportsnet. I always forget. I've watched a couple of these at 3:30 in the afternoon online, and my boys were like, "Yo, I was watching it on Sportsnet." I'm like, "What? Aw, man." So yeah, it's there. Then at night, I went and watched Pacquiao. Just say it right now, Pacquiao's a beast. He's a monster. He's a machine. Last night was a boxing extravaganza for Manny Pacquiao. And I still say he get whooped. Maybe not whooped, but he get beat by Mayweather. Make it happen. Biggest fight in like 20 years. Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Boxing, do it. Anyways, back to the MMA. I'm just going to talk about the main cards, the fight that I did see. Ross Pearson looked like a monster against Aaron Riley. Basically, the situation was Ross Pearson's striking was far superior. Aaron Riley could not get the takedown. I don't even know if he tried to take down until like the third round. Flawed game plan. He didn't try to take down until like the end of the second round. Completely flawed game plan in this, but I don't think it really mattered. Ross Pearson looked like he was in a bigger weight class. He was outstriking him when he was striking him, outstriking him in the clinch. He didn't allow himself, and it's not like it was as easy or as hard, but he didn't allow himself for that distance to get closed so that he couldn't throw strikes like you saw in the main event. He kept his distance. He's throwing the elbows. He's throwing the punches. He's doing his thing. He's busting him up, and had a very impressive win over a veteran and a guy that's fought all over the world for many years. So hats off to Ross Pearson. That's the lightweight. So, I do enjoy, believe it or not, these UK guys winning against, favorites. Because then we can stop with the division in that division where you have all these UK guys fighting each other, all these American guys fighting each other, and then the Brazilians fight whoever. But you never see, these UK guys fighting these American guys, because the UK guys are only fighting on UK cards. So it's actually a very good situation, because now, instead of having, and we'll still have, very high concentration, UK fighters in UK fights, or, when they're in the UK, or when they're in Europe, they're going to have a bunch of Europeans. But when you have the situation with these guys actually winning, then you can start to cross over and whatnot. So that is a good thing. So now we've got a situation with, Ross Pearson, you know, up the ladder he goes. Let's see what happens next. Good fight for Ross Pearson. James Wilkes versus Matt Brown. Matt Brown was doing his thing. James Wilkes was really doing his thing. This was a very good fight, back and forth. I've never been a big guy to jump all over the Matt Brown the Immortal bandwagon, and I'm still not going to. But in this fight, he definitely stuck it out. He definitely, he said, I'm in some tough situations. It was a Kimura. Oh my lord, that Kimura. Woo. He got flipped upside down, left, right, and center, and he stuck through it. He didn't tap. And not getting that Kimura absolutely broke James Wilkes. That is my belief. It was a very good fight, an entertaining fight. Both these two fights were very entertaining. If anything, I did horrible with the picks. But like I said to somebody, you find me somebody who's not a big UK fight fan, who just basically picked all the UK guys. Other than that guy or those guys, nobody did well because, like I said, in MMA, the favorite most of the time wins, and in this card, the favorites got smashed, and the UK dudes handled the business. But the only thing I did get right was that it would be an entertaining night of fights. Now, I don't know if that really pertains to the main event, but in general, it was pretty entertaining. So, Matt Brown, up and down fight. He finally takes the top. He breaks James Wilkes' will, I believe, when he gets out of that submission, and puts the hurting on him. At the end of that fight, he got smashed and opened up in his face. He wasn't really broken down, bruised, or bloodied until that point. And at that point, he said, yo, this ground and pound is going to beat you down. But anyways, good fight for Matt Brown. Up the ladder he goes. James Wilkes. Nothing to be ashamed of. He lost to somebody who's immortal and can't die. So, next you have Dennis Kang versus Michael Bisping. Before I go into what many people will believe are excuses, I'm going to praise Michael Bisping for a few things. A, off of his back, regaining guard, not being put into very serious, very difficult situations to get out of. Michael Bisping handled his business. Dennis Kang dropped him. Dennis Kang jumped on him. He got to half guard immediately, and he continuously got to side mount and then got reguarded. Side mount and then reguarded. Michael Bisping's ground game off his back, at least against somebody with Dennis Kang's jiu-jitsu skill, which is a black belt from a credible dude. Michael Bisping definitely impressed me with his jiu-jitsu off his back. I thought once he got put in that situation, it'd be night. But night. That's like he slit his throat twice. But no, he just kept getting it back, staying out of trouble. And then at the end of all of that, and this is another thing I'm going to give Michael Bisping credit for, he was not gassed. He came in the fight like a true fighter, like a professional. Like, this is his job. Like, he wants to raise. You know what I mean? Like he wants a promotion. That's what Michael Bisping did. He spent his time on his back, trying not to get beat up, trying not to get submitted against somebody who could beat him up and submit him, and ended up less tired than the guy who was on top. And that is where I will switch to Dennis Kang. Dude, what the F what are you doing in MMA right now for you to consistently come out and lose to guys that you should be able to beat? Now, he had a submission loss to Alan Belcher, where he lost simply because he gassed. This is like the white, he's not white, this is like the non-black Sokoju, but not as explosive. I'm just saying he gasses. He gasses way too quick, and then he puts himself in stupid situations, and then he gives up. Alan Belcher comes out there, should have beat Alan Belcher, beats him in the first round, gasses somewhere in the second, goes for a stupid-ass takedown, gets guillotine choked. Musasi, not a guy he should beat. However, a guy that he shouldn't just stick his head and arm in for a triangle. He's just standing over him, one like, here you go, buddy, take it. Xavier Fupapukam, Professor X. Xavier was dead tired. And that fight went to a decision in which, Dennis Kang should have been able to finish him because this dude was literally stopping. He looked like he was on tough, resting in the middle of the cage, but Dennis Kang couldn't take advantage of it because he was tired too. So now he comes into this fight, spends the entire round on top, trying to beat somebody on their back, gets up more tired than the other dude. Look, I'm saying, he's had a 3-fight UFC contract. He's lost 2 of them. He's gave up in 2 of them, or given up in 2 of them. He won another one that was completely not impressive. Dennis Kang didn't do a damn thing. Out the door. There was nothing that rhymed with thing that was like door. I would have put it in for the 3rd. And I don't even think it was worthy of it. Dennis Kang gotta go. Michael Bisping, congratulations. Again, handled your business. Up the ladder again. He lost to Dan Henderson. And by the way, let me explain to you why I used to not like Michael Bisping. I'm not saying I like him now. I'm just saying I don't dislike him. I very much have a problem with guys who trash talk and lose, or guys who trash talk and don't really have a big reason to trash talk. It all started many a year ago, back in MMA memory land, where he lost a fight to Matt Hamill and then lost it by striking and then told Matt Hamill that he should work on his striking. Everybody was booing him. It was just like he knew he lost that fight. He got beaten in the stand-up, and then he told the guy that beat him but got robbed, go work on your stand-up. Then he talked trash. Then he went up against Dan Henderson, who he did not have a shot in hell against, and talked trash about how he's going to knock him out, how he's going to submit him, all this craziness, and then he lost, of course. Those were the reasons why I don't like Michael Bisping, or I didn't like Michael Bisping. In this fight, he just did his thing. He came out. He stayed focused. Congratulations to him. Continue to do this, Michael Bisping. I don't like talking trash Michael Bisping because it's, if Anderson Silva wants to talk trash, fine. If Mayweather wants to talk trash, fine. Theodore doesn't talk at all. But if he wanted to talk and say anything and it happened to be trash, fine. These guys, I don't mind if they talk trash. I mean, Rampage, light heavyweight champion, smashing people. When he does lose, it's only to like devastating destructions and where he should have lost a long time ago, but he just, fine, I'll even take him because maybe he's funny. Please, people like Michael Bisping, who are just hard workers, good fighters, not the greatest yet, but trying to get better, just keep it cool. Just keep it cool, and I'll be on your side. Alright, Mike Swick versus Dan Hardy. What I said in my preview was Dan Hardy had not shown that he had not shown really that he was the guy to beat Swick. Not like there's only a few guys, but he wasn't a part of that crew, at least according to what I saw. And now he's definitely shown it. He's definitely shown that he's in this division. He's a 170 guy, and others should be worried about him. Should GSP be worried about him? GSP should train. Should he be worried? I don't know about all that. However, after that fight, he's going to fight other guys now because it's not just going to be, Dan Hardy versus guys on, the card here or there in the UK. He should be able to get some good fights now. He's going to get the title shot. We'll see what happens after that. Because this is a difficult situation for the UFC with the welterweight division. They could have GSP fighting the same 4 top guys over and over again and beating them up until somebody finally beats them. Or they could give him some new blood to make bleed. That's what they're doing here. I personally would like to see, and I know they had the fight set up and it didn't go. I would like to see, Dan Hardy fight guys like Josh Koscheck, guys like Rumble. They're fighting each other. It's such a great fight. I personally think the winner of that fight should get the title shot before any of these two, especially if it were to be Anthony Rumble Johnson beating Josh Koscheck. If Rumble pulls off that win, give him the title shot. That's what I say. But it ain't about that. I actually think that might happen anyways, unless there's a UK fight. But they're never going to take GSP and throw him in the UK and have him defend his title. So, yeah, I mean, Dan Hardy's going to have to fight this fight somewhere in America or maybe Canada. Maybe they're coming back to Montreal or something next year. So, since that's the case, I say if, and I'm not trying to take a title shot away. I'm just saying, if Koscheck loses to Rumble, give him the title shot because then you've got a big, wrestler, powerful, good striking. That'll be a big test. And then Dan Hardy could maybe fight Thiago Alves. Like, that makes sense. And then the winner of that fight will fight the winner of GSP, whatever. But anyways, I'm not Joe Silva. I'm just Joe Schmo. So, it doesn't matter. But he was very impressive. Dan Hardy was very impressive. It seemed like Mike Swick couldn't even hurt Dan Hardy. I believe Dan Hardy might have a serious chin on his neck. That's the chin, that's the neck. For people who don't speak English well. I believe that Dan Hardy definitely, in order to get dropped or anything, he's going to have to get hit with a baseball bat or something. Not to say that Mike Swick's the hardest hitter ever. He's got long arms and he does all arm punches. But, Swick couldn't hurt Hardy. In this fight, he could not hurt Hardy. At least not with a punch to the face. So, Hardy showed a lot of heart. He showed a lot of skill. He beat Swick, I don't want to say with ease, but he was never in trouble. And, Swick was going for takedowns. And when somebody like Swick goes for takedowns, that means Swick isn't really comfortable on the feet anymore. So, Hardy, Dan Hardy did his damn thing. Good fight. Good win for Dan Hardy. Randy Couture, Brandon Vera. Now, I have not rewatched this fight, and I probably never will. 15 minutes of up against the cage is really not my thing. But from the time that I did watch the fight, I actually believe in United States judging system. I believe Randy Couture won this fight. If this was Japan, where whoever did the most damage is the victor, then for sure, Brandon Vera won this fight. He dropped him with the body blow, had dude falling on the side, clutching his ribs. For sure. He did more damage. He did the only amount of damage. He really did. He was the only one who did anything in the whole fight. Right? So let me get that out of the way. Randy Couture controlled where the fight was for 95% of the fight. But didn't do a damn thing for that 95%. For the other 5%, Brandon Vera managed to take Randy down. I think got the only takedown in the whole fight. Mount him, even though he wasn't able to do anything in the mount. Bust his ribs all up. Drop him with body blows. Land the only real strikes. But that was only 5% of the match. So now back to the United States, back to UFC North America. You have 95% controlling the octagon versus 5% doing damage. Randy wins the fight based on that, in my opinion. You have round 1, Randy wins it. Round 2, Brandon Vera wins that. Round 3, I have Randy winning it because, again, he just controlled where the fight went. Not a very good fight at all. Very just repetitious and uneventful. I'm surprised that Joe Rogan was, just all on those judges again. I mean, damn, you know. But it is what it is. UFC 105 is over next week. We have UFC 106, Griffin versus Ortiz 2, only on pay-per-view. Anyways, Manny Pacquiao, Dammy Pacquiao. MMA, it is important. Peace.